Bonjour! Bonjour!
No.
Time for bladder check. Check.
So it's a show?
It's a lifestyle.
It's a religion.
My emotions! My emotions!
I'm still French.
Ouais, c'est pas faux.
I'm a woman, Mary. I can be as contrary as I choose.
Non, moi je crois qu'il faut que vous arrêtiez d'essayer de dire des trucs.
Hello, hi, I'm Noah. I'm gonna watch Vinland Saga Season 2 Episode 1. I cannot wait to discover this Season 2, how it's gonna begin, the time jump that we might have. I'm voting, for a 1 year time jump, something like that. Like to see the first days of Canute as a king. I'm not sure that it could be interesting. So really more after 1 year, 2 years, something like that. I'm voting for that. But with the rhythm of this anime, maybe I'm totally wrong, and in fact it's gonna be a 20 years, a 30 years time jump, something like that. We'll see. No matter what, I'm glad to be there. I prefer to warn you, I'm gonna watch a lot the camera, even maybe during the reaction part, I mean, because of the fact that you can't know it, but 2 days ago I filmed my reactions and my thoughts to 2 new episodes of My Hero Academia. If you don't know it, I'm reacting also to My Hero Academia right now. I'm into the season 5 and it was for 2 big episodes about Andover, about Todoroki, about their family and all. And I discovered, when I wanted to edit these videos, that in fact the autofocus, was off during the 2 videos, that's it. I'm turning it off, for Twitch when I'm on Twitch and all, and I'm turning it back on, when I'm filming reaction videos, and I forgot to turn it back on, so I fought a lot to try to sharpen, a little the picture and all. Clearly the quality is not there and it's bothering me a lot, even more because it's big episodes, So right there for Vinland Saga, for the beginning of the season 2, be sure that I'm gonna check, a lot the camera, the quality, of the picture. Before filming right now, I already checked, twice. I already made some tests, by filming, and then I went on my computer. Okay, so that's it. The autofocus is working. Okay, it's working, it's working. I put it back. I put, multiple tests just to be sure that that's it, the autofocus is back and it's working well. But I'm a little like that, so maybe I'm gonna watch the camera even during the reaction part because of that. So yes, I was saying that I'm really, really excited to discover this season 2. With this anime, I learned my lessons with this anime. I can't plan what is gonna happen. They're gonna surprise me each time with the rhythm for sure, and that's why I don't know what kind of time jump I have to expect. In a normal, regular anime it would be 1 year, 2 years, but with this anime it might be more than that. I'm wondering also about the characters that we saw at the end of the final episode of the season 1. For me, one is Thorfinn's sister. The first blonde guy, now I think that it was Canute's brother, Ragnar, because we are missing one brother. So for sure one of the 2 male characters that we saw, that we discovered at the end of the last season, is Canute's brother. And because of the long blonde hair, I'm like, maybe it was the first one. I don't know why I pictured someone really strong and old to be Canute's brother, to be the next king, chosen to be the next king by their dad. But in fact, maybe not. Maybe it's someone who is looking like Canute, and it would be logical, in fact. So maybe that was that first guy. Which means that this second guy, on that boat, who looked strong and all, I have really no clue about who he can be. We'll see about it. Oh! I didn't talk about it. During my last reaction video, during the last episode of the season 1, someone died. Remember? Askeladd died. And really, I was expecting to cry a lot for Askeladd's death because you know how much I love his character. So me thinking that maybe one day he could die, I was like, I'm gonna be crying, you know, a lot, that's gonna be awful and all. But I was such in a big denial that I couldn't cry, and it's really during the review thinking, okay, so it means no Askeladd for season 2, so it means he's never gonna be the king even of Wales, he's never gonna come back home to Wales. I began to cry really. But at the end of the review, I also confessed to you that maybe I had still like 1% of me who still wants to believe that maybe Askeladd is not dead and that was just an act, and that's why at the end he's all alone, you know, his body is all alone with Thorkell and Canute. Do I still believe that? No, I want to tell you, you know, where I'm standing on the denial you know, scale. I can't say to you that I believe at 100% for sure that Askeladd is dead, because that's not how I'm functioning. When I love a character that much, when he's dying, I was gonna say like that, but like that at the same time, you know, my own rule about that is body card eyes closed. If I see that the person is dead, like right there, we are seeing him getting killed. We are seeing him falling, we are seeing him, you know, like his body being like that and all. Normally, according to my own rule, I shouldn't have any doubt. But I'm not working like that. Like when I love a character that much, I need to be sure that the person is not gonna die. Like really, the main example for that for me is the fact that when I binge watched The Expanse with you guys, we had a character who was on a planet. That planet exploded. I stayed like at least 10 or 12 episodes after that being like, he's not dead, he's gonna come back at some point. The guy was on a fucking planet which exploded, and me, I was still in denial, and I was still like, there is a tiny percentage of chance that he's not dead. So clearly right there for Askeladd, I'm gonna be the same. There is a tiny, like really tiny percentage of chance that maybe he's not dead. But you know, him being not dead right now when everyone thinks that he's dead, I'm not even sure that Askeladd would want that, because he's living for, you know, all of these purposes around the world, around what he wants to do, about all of this, you know, political, ambitious, you know, goals. So clearly he couldn't do anything with his life anymore, with everyone thinking that he's dead, you know, he can't appear as a ghost or anything like that. So really a tiny percentage of me thinks that maybe he's still alive, but even when I'm imagining that he's still alive, I'm like, he's not gonna have any life, and Askeladd wouldn't want to have that no life thing. So see, on the denial scale, I'm really like at the bottom of it. I still have that tiny part of me who wants him to be still alive, but even that tiny part of me is like, you don't want for him to be alive like that. So see, I'm standing right there. So Canute is gonna be the king. Canute is gonna be the king. That's cool, I guess. I'm not sure. Like for now, I have the impression that he only did good stuff and all, but how he's talking, you know, the fact that he wants to make this place paradise and that he's gonna be the one deciding and all, like a lot of people that we followed the story in a real story and also in movies, shows and books who are talking like that at first, 10 years after that, they are the worst dictators ever, killing people just because they are telling them that they are not thinking the same. So really, I'm afraid for Canute to take that path. We'll see. Thorfinn, now that Askeladd is dead, is gonna have to think about what next for his own story, something that he never imagined. The fact that I talked about that during entire episodes, if not like almost all of the season 1, the fact that he was so focused on having this revenge, he was so blinded by this rage, he was emotionally still a kid inside, that he never imagined a real life for himself. He never imagined, you know, that he could have a life because he never emotionally grew up, so he's not an adult. He never thought about, okay, what do I want for my life, to have other goals. And also, Askeladd getting killed like that, first, he doesn't have his revenge, so that it's gonna be torture for him. Second, he doesn't know what to do with his life, and to come back home without having his revenge, for someone like Thorfinn, I think that it's gonna be like something like, oh, that's it, like, I couldn't have his honor back, so something like that. And what is truly killing me also is the fact that he never learned from anyone that in fact Floki was the one to give that order to Askeladd. And I have the emotion that everyone who was alive knowing it is dead now. You know, Bjorn, Askeladd, they're dead. So who is gonna say it to Thorfinn? I want that revenge, I want that fight. We'll see. But yes, I don't imagine that beginning this season 2, I'm gonna see Thorfinn back home. I would want that, I would love that. Or even, you know, Thorfinn back with Leif. You know, I was thinking on that boat, going, trying to find Vinland, like, in the perfect world, it would be that. But Thorfinn with his attitude, you know, his way of thinking, I love him a lot. But when we left him, he was that kid, you know, emotionally, like, physically, mentally, he grew up, you know, he's almost an adult now, but emotionally he's such a kid that for how we left him, I can't imagine that he took the right decisions, you know, coming back home or going with Leif to find Vinland or anything like that. Like, I'm desperate about him. Okay, I'm gonna stop this intro and I'm gonna discover the beginning of this season 2. Remember that if you want to have my Patreon on which you can have these reaction videos earlier, you can have 4 reaction videos of advance. It's really a lot, meaning 2 weeks of advance, you know, in comparison of YouTube. And you have them with full opacity for sure, you know, the reaction part, and you have a longer one, longer because I'm not cutting into it, you know, like I'm forced to do for YouTube, and longer because a lot of time, really a lot of time, I put in fact the full reaction part for this episodes of Vinland Saga, and even if I'm not putting the full reaction part, it's still really longer, at least 5 minutes. Each time I'm putting the detail of that, you know, on the description, on the schedule that I publish each Monday morning on my YouTube, my Patreon and my Twitter. I'm making my homework with that, you know. So if you want all of these advantages, to have 2 weeks of advance, to have the reaction part in full opacity, a longer one, maybe even a full one, and if you want to support me, to encourage me to continue my channel, these videos and all, you have my Patreon for that. Let's go for this episode! It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. I have faith. Ah, it's directly the opening credit. I'm not sure I can watch it, remember? Spoilers of that. See, I don't know this guy, so I'm not gonna watch it, but I'm gonna give you my opinion about the song. I'm not sure. Like, it's a good song, for sure it's a good song, but for Vinland Saga, thors? No.
Ristu í líkama, ristu í sjó, ristu í bráð, ristu í fjandmann. Ristu minni í mig.
dare you? Ah! That guy on the boat, no? At the end of the final episode.
戦だよ戦の特権見ろこの威力
図体ばっかでかくても戦の役には立たないよ
Mm.
飯の支度しな
Mother, sister.
でなんでまた急に特訓なんて
そりゃここを守るためだろ
Of what?
全部配備されてようやくここまで立ち直ったんだあんなのごめんだろ兵士だって悔しくねえのかよ負けっぱなしで親父だって俺たちを守
Who is your dad? This place turned in ashes when?
美女
Because of
う
who?
まいですよ負けてないよ
But officially, you did. You lost officially, it seems. She's saying that you didn't, but because you're still alive and you're living that peaceful life. It's memory or it's happening again? It's happening again. To be burnt in ashes, I mean.
ホールに入ったらとにかく突っ走れ
Take her, you know, into your arms. She was running fast enough, but
逃げる私置いていけバカね
run! Save your sister!
だってエイナよだと死にかけたパパがこれくらい生きてさえいいの
こいつらなんで逃げねえのお結構可愛いぜこの子
Einar. You go, girl! I'm sorry, like really during 1 second I was like, I would prefer to be killed like that than to be tortured, raped and then killed. Like, I prefer to be killed because I tried to escape, I tried to defend myself and I managed to hurt you. And now, like really... You're slaves, right?
ダメだなこれ仕方ね
I was gonna say it, you're gonna push her in the ocean or something like that? Like, whoa. She might contaminate the other ones, so let's just... He's strong, but he's not using his strength, maybe because he's not that clever, like to not know when he has to act, when he has to shut his mouth and all. He hesitated to jump and he remembered that he has to leave. And his mother said. You're trying to escape. Are you gonna... You succeeded? No, clearly. And you know, when he was outside and all, I was thinking about Thorfinn, who was that old, you know, and managed to feed himself, to... Okay, they managed to convince you, to brainwash you. Who? I don't get it. It was when you were searching for Thorfinn? Oh, you're still searching for him now because you ran away again. Did you feel that? The kindness, did you feel it? You found? What? It looks like your place. You're still alive. Before something happened? Before what? Thorfinn? How can you be right there? How old? Before you met Thorfinn? Hey my dear, that's it, you're an adult now. You're a slave, Thorfinn? Okay, I can watch it normally, the ending credit, and I'm gonna give you my opinion about the song also, before making a review. It's a nice song, not really a good one, but a nice one. And clearly with the last ending credit, which was so great, for sure I'm a little disappointed. Ah! An identity? Oh, it's a preview. Ah! It's a preview! I don't want to have previews, nothing like that. Okay, I have to know that at the end I'm gonna have previews that I have to avoid, like I have to think about the difference between previews, hidden scenes and all of that. I really like, at the beginning of this video I was like, am I watching Vinland Saga? Like really, there is no one that I know. But I recognized the mood, I recognized the drawings, I recognized everything which is making this anime what it is. So I was like, okay, it's Vinland Saga, we are meeting a new character, we're gonna continue with him for a long time. Maybe, you know, it's the presentation of a character who is gonna be really important in the future, and I really also recognized soon enough during this episode that this guy was the guy on the boat that we saw at the end of the final episode of the season 1. So I was like, okay, really, it's a presentation of that new character who is gonna be truly important for this season 2, maybe more than that. I had trouble to understand the chronology at first, because you know, this guy was living a peaceful life with his mother and his sister in that place, I didn't know where, and I didn't know when. They were talking about the fact that the dad died during a war, they were talking about the fact that all of this place was burnt in ashes, they were talking about the fact that officially they lost that war. So I was like, really, when are we? Where are we? I don't know. Then we had him being taken as a slave after losing his mother and his sister. When we met him with them, you know, with the mother and the sister, I almost already knew that they would die at some point, these two. So I was not surprised to see them dying, but I was glad you saw it, to see them dying like that, because the mother, you know, her attitude and all, already how she was talking to her son before and how she was talking to him when she was dying, I was like, what a woman, like really, she's so brave, she's going for it and all, like really, my kind of character, the kind that I really appreciate. And the sister, I was also glad you saw it, that she died like that, because for sure she would have died, but I prefer for her to die because she defended herself, she managed to hurt the guy who was trying to kidnap her, and he was so angry about it that he killed her, than her dying because she would have been tortured, raped and all by all of these guys. So I was glad in fact that she died like that. So once he was taken away, you know, as a slave and all, when he was on that boat, I was like, that's it, that's the scene that we saw at the end of the previous episode, I mean the final episode of the season 1, so that's it, we are at that moment on the chronology. But then we had Leif searching for Thorfinn, so for some minutes, you know, I was confused, like, are we in fact into the past? Like, maybe all of this episode is a memory, you met Leif before, you know, episode 20 or 19 of the season 1, something like that. Because I couldn't remember the names of the guys who were with Leif, you know, on his boat, so I remembered that he was with some person, so maybe it was Einar and all, I was thinking of that. But then he left the place with a new master, so I was like, okay, so maybe not in fact, and maybe Leif is truly searching for Thorfinn right now, because Thorfinn again disappeared. And I said it during the intro, like really, I knew it. Thorfinn, not having his revenge on Askeladd, for sure he's not gonna come back home because he didn't have that revenge, so for him, you know, it's a question of honor, he can't come back home. And he's really thinking, I think, still now, as a kid, emotionally, still a kid, you know, like... I knew that he wouldn't come back home. I knew that he wouldn't go with Leif searching for Vinland and all. I knew it. But I didn't know that, is he truly a slave or a worker, you know, just for this guy? I don't know, maybe he's not a slave, because we know how great he is, you know, as a fighter and all, so maybe he managed to get hired as a worker for that guy more than a slave. But no matter what, at the end of the day, he's a slave. Like I said also at some point during the first season, that no matter what, at the end of the day, he was kind of a slave for Askeladd. Following him when he doesn't like him, when he hates him, when in fact he just wants to kill him. But still, he was following the guy, he was obeying to his orders, he was doing everything that Askeladd was saying, was ordering to him. What's the difference really truly with a slave? You're free to go away, that's the difference, Thorfinn. If you want, you can go away, but at the end, you're still choosing to stay with the guy that you want to kill, you're still obeying to him, you're forcing yourself to be there, that's the difference. Slaves, they are forced to be there, you're forcing yourself to be there. But at the same time, you know, with Einar, Einar, he seems like a good person in the sense that he has a good heart, we can see it. You saw it during the episode, at multiple occasions I said, you're not stupid, but clearly you're not clever. At some occasions, you know, he should have reacted faster. At some occasions, he should have shut his mouth. At some occasions, he should have really understood the situation or read the situation. And we saw that he was not understanding stuff, he was not reacting quick enough and all. The fact that he is strong, we can see it, you know, physically we can see that he's strong, but he's not using his strength, or at least he doesn't know how to use it. He's not reacting when he's supposed to react. You know, I'm thinking when they took his sister the first time, I'm thinking then, you know, on that boat, the fact that he doesn't understand what they are doing with that girl. Then, you know, as a slave, he's running away, but he's making a break to steal some stuff, like, you should have continued to run away, really to go far, 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 so they're never gonna find you, and you should have found a way to feed yourself by yourself. You know, again, I was thinking about Thorfinn, that years old, who did it, so you should have done it also, like, he's not stupid, I'm not gonna call him stupid, but he's not the most clever guy into the room, you know, like. But he's someone great, he has a good heart, we can see it. You know what he was thinking, for sure, about his sister, his mother. The fact that he didn't understand that, also about that girl that they sacrificed, they killed like that, it's proving also that he had a kind heart, like, he couldn't imagine that people would do something like that. What he thought about life also, that was something kind to think, to say. So he's someone kind for sure. And now we just met Thorfinn. And the fact that he said all of that about... He didn't say it like that, but he lost hope about escaping. He didn't have anything into his life. He lost everything. And then he met Thorfinn, you know, like him meeting Thorfinn, that's gonna be something which is gonna change his mind. That's what he said, in fact. I thought that it was great also to make all of that about him, a slave, into the first episode, to meet him like that, but also all of the fact that he's a slave and the fact that now making that during the first episode and not the third episode, you know, because first it's showing that he's gonna be a big character for the rest of this anime, but also because we're beginning this season 2 like we began the season 1 with the story of a slave who lost his family, who lost hope, who lost also the idea to have a place that he can call home. That guy, you know, if you're telling him about Vinland, he's gonna believe into it. Okay, that was a good first episode, a surprising one, but a good one. And yes, we had a time jump. More than 1 year or 2 years, like, I don't know how old you are, I would say he's into his 20s right now, Thorfinn. We'll see. And I'm gonna see that right now because I'm gonna watch one more episode today. It's all for you for this video and it's all for me for now, so bye for now. Bye.
Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me that you built a time machine? Crazy.